All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We're going to be getting started in just about 2 minutes. So I want you all to share this out on your Facebook pages or on your Instagram or wherever you are. Share this broadcast out because this evening we're going to be talking about money, 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 money. Hey, that's what we're going to be talking about. Finances, money management with author Basila Muhammad Guisse. So I'm super duper honored and really looking forward to this conversation about rebuilding finances as a single mom. So share this out and also type in where you're joining us from. We always like to see where people are joining us from. So are you Michigan? Are you United States? Are you someplace else? Let us know where you're joining us from. This broadcast tonight is a part of our Power Author series. So this Saturday coming up on September 25th, we are having a bestseller day, a bestseller sales day for our authors. And I want everyone here to come and join us on this Saturday, September 25th. And we're going to be doing a buying frenzy to help all of these new authors get to #1 on Amazon and really make a splash with their messages. So you and I both know that writing a book is not the easiest thing in the world, right? Otherwise, everybody would do it, but not everybody does. So we are going to have a bestseller splash day on Saturday, September 25th. And we're inviting all of you all to come and join us on September 25th. Hear more from the authors and also buy the books on that day. Buy the books on that day. All right. So we're going to get started in just about 1 minute and share this out on your own pages, on your Facebook and your other groups as well that you're in. Anybody that you know that's a single mom, right, that may need some guidance. Really, is for everybody. Everybody uses money management, right? But this does have specific tips for single moms. So if you know a single mom that can benefit from this knowledge, from this information, you know somebody struggling, or they may be on assistance, or they may be, in a place where they want to get to the next stage in their financial journey, then tag them, share out this thing to them directly. Let them know that, hey, you might want to tune in, right? You might want to tune in. All right. So we have the Nadirs from Phoenix, Arizona, power author, attorney Zarina Nadir, and Dr. Anissa Nadir, who is the author of Before the Nikah. Zarina Nadir is an attorney out of Phoenix, Arizona, and she is the author of Legally Savvy. So you're going to be able to hear from her this week and get to know what should you say when the police pull you over. You're shaking in your boots, you don't know what to say, and they ask you, hey, can we search you? You're not doing anything wrong, right? Can we search you? Like, what do you really say in those instances? Attorney Zarina Nadir is an expert in legal justice, and she is going to share that and more with us during her interview. And her book is also coming out on this Saturday, September 25th, right? September 25th. All right, so we are going to jump right into it. I'm going to just welcome everyone to the stage, and we're going to get started in just about 30 seconds or so. 30 seconds or so. So here we go. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Woo! All right. So, rebuild 8 simple steps to financial freedom and abundant living. I have the beautiful opportunity right now to introduce to us the author of Rebuild Money Management for Single Moms. Basila Muhammad Guisse is a human services and mental health professional trained career development facilitator and former bank employee whose mission is to help single moms rebuild their lives through finances. Basila deeply connects with single moms and knows their painful struggles, as she herself was a single teenage mom who raised three daughters into adulthood. Basila supports her clients in rewriting their money stories and taking control of their financial futures. Seeing single moms financially independent and breaking free from the poverty cycle is her motivation. Basila is a proud mom raising her second set of children in Michigan with her amazing husband and best friend, Sheikh. Awesome. So here's the truth of the matter right now. What we are going to get into this evening is something that is one of the most important things that we need to discuss in America in general. And we're going to get into why that is. But right now, I want you all to give a warm welcome wherever you are. She can hear you energetically, right? Give a warm welcome to Basila Muhammad Guisse. Welcome to the Power Office stage.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. All right. So you say in this book that the poorest households in America are those headed by single moms. And I know a lot of people may be like, is that really true? Like, is that a real statistic or did you make that up? So where did that really come from? Is it true that the poorest households in America are headed by single moms?
Great question, Zarina. Yes, that is a true statistical statement. Single moms are the poorest have the poorest households in America because they have one income. And if you look at it from a big picture, they not only have that one income, they may or may not receive child support to supplement that income. They're spending their monies mainly on maintaining the household and childcare, leaving them with little to no money to invest or pay debt or even build wealth.
Whew. So this is a really big problem. This is a really big problem. I know now, I never really thought of myself as a single mom, but I actually am. Like, I never considered the fact that that's a part of my new identity because I co-parent, I guess, but it's true. Your finances are much different when you are singly handling, different things. So I know that this book, Rebuild, was kind of built out of your own experience as a single teenage mom and then learning these things that you've learned now and put into the book along the way. So I want you, though, to take us back to that time when you're a single teenage mom with your first child raising. Can you kind of paint the picture for those who may not really understand what we're talking about as far as the real life circumstances?
Yes, I was 16 years old when I became pregnant with my first child and gave birth. I was still in high school. I was transitioning from my sophomore year to my junior year. My school counselor looked at me with pity when I told her that I was pregnant, and she pretty much wanted to know what my plans were. And I told her that I was transferring to a different school closer to home so that I could continue my education and have my baby and raise her. As time went on, I did graduate high school. I actually graduated 6 months early with honors, and I got accepted into the college of my choice. So the fact that I was a teenage mother did not, it wasn't a barrier for me to pursuing my education. My mom was very stern when it came to education, so that I'm grateful for that. And that was my motivation to continue my education so that I could have a better life for myself and for my baby. Mm-hmm. So after graduation, that's when I was introduced to credit. I was working part-time at McDonald's and going to school part-time, and I eventually earned my degrees, and I entered single parenthood or single motherhood 2 more times after that. Mm-hmm. So child support was coming. When it came, it was not consistent. So I used credit cards. and I use credit cards to live. So credit cards were my financial vice. That got me into a very bad situation where I couldn't pay bills. I would take cash advances off one credit card to pay another. I would buy food, groceries, pay my utilities from credit cards. And it had gotten so bad to where I had to go to a food bank to get food for us to eat because I couldn't afford to buy food. My house was threatened to be foreclosed on. I had two cars, so both of my cars were threatened to be repossessed. So it was a pretty dark time for me.
Mhm.
Even going through all that, my motivation at that time was because I was in a financial hot mess didn't mean that I had to look like I was in a hot mess. So
Mhm.
retail therapy, shopping was what I did to feel better about myself. And
Mhm.
that just brought me further and further into the debt situation. And I pretty much hit rock bottom after that. I knew that I had to make some changes.
Mm. This whole notion of retail therapy or trying to make ourselves feel good or trying to put on, a front, if you will, to the outside society so that everybody else thinks like, hey, I'm good. I'm Gucci. I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this, but and all the time suffering. So what do you say to a lot of people that really don't have any issue with credit, meaning that they think it's not a big deal? Like they think that debt is not a big deal. Like, it's like, it's not going to make or break me or whatever. Like, have you seen anybody that kind of has that sort of mentality where they don't think that this is really important?
Yes, and you can pretty much tell that they don't think it's important because they do nothing to repair their credit. If they are in a bad credit situation, they do nothing to repair the credit. They do nothing to settle the debt, and they do nothing to try to raise their credit scores. Let's face it, we need money to buy everything with,
Mm-hmm.
and your credit is your reputation. So if your credit is jacked up, that means that your financial reputation is jacked up as well. So credit is important.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, so you're in this spiral at this time, right? Like you have all this debt going on. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they said, and you're spiraling. And then you talk about hitting your rock bottom. What does your rock bottom look like? Like what did that look like for you?
My rock bottom was when I could not afford to buy food.
Mm.
And I had three daughters. Well, at that time, I had two daughters. My oldest daughter was an adult and on her own. And I had two daughters that I had to feed. And I had to go to the local food bank to get food.
Mm.
That was my rock bottom.
Mhm. So what did that do in your mind? Like, you talk about like you kind of came to that and you knew you had to change, but lots of people hit rock bottom and stayed stayed there. So what was different for you where you hit this rock bottom and had to try to start to figure out some new things? Why is it different for you?
It was different for me because I knew I was better than that.
Mm.
And I knew that I had more potential to be financially successful. And I was not living the life that I knew that I could live and should be living at that particular time. So it was very depressing. And when I look back on it, that's what the retail therapy was for, to
Mhm.
make me feel better about my financial situation. However, I was digging that hole even deeper by continuing to spend money on credit cards that I didn't have.
Mhm. 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 So, okay, so let's get practical for a moment, right? So you're in this situation. There are many other single moms, right, who are in the same situation that you were in, where they are robbing Peter to pay Paul, putting everything on this credit card, this credit card, this credit card, trying to maneuver stuff around, but just continuing to spiral down and down and down. So you have some like steps, some things that they should do in order to get financially free, but not just to be financially free, but then also move into abundant living. So, what is the first thing that a single mom, needs to do if she's tired of this cycle and wants to improve?
The first thing she needs to do, Zarina, is to get her mind right. She has to go back and think about the money messages that she received as a child and what those messages meant to her and how to work through those money messages.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what do you mean? Like money messages? What are you talking
about? Pretty much how was money discussed in your household? Mm-hmm. Was money freely discussed with you, with your parents? Did you participate in any decisions or in the process of paying bills? Did you were you given an allowance and was told that you needed to budget this allowance until your next allowance? Mm-hmm. So all those examples tie into money messages. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on how money was handled in your household when you were a child.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first I need to kind of tap into my mind, understand my own issues and upbringing around money management or money, period. And then from there, like, what did you do? Like, what did you do for yourself? Like when you started to understand things were not the way you wanted to do, like these steps that you came up with, I'm assuming that you had to have some trial and error over the years before you got to the formula. So can you take us a little bit about like through your personal journey of how you decided what worked for you and what didn't work for you when you were rebuilding?
Yes. So what I first had to do was to get an understanding of how I felt about money, what my relationship with money was. Mm-hmm. How did I act around money? And I had to really come to grips with the situation that I avoided creditors. I avoided phone calls. I avoided opening up mail because I already knew what they said. So I had to accept that was my truth at that particular time. Once I did that, I pretty much moved into the process of, okay, this is what's going on. What can I do to get myself out of this situation and still live? So what I began to do is I created a budget. Mm-hmm. And I created a system where I would redo my budget every month because some months my income would fluctuate and I would follow this budget to a T. I've never been the kind of person who like to restrict myself financially. And I realized that I don't have to. However, I need to be more conscious of what I'm spending my money on. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So as I began to work through this budget, I tweaked it over the years and I came up with the system that is inside my book, which is the Single Mom's Budgeting Plan.
Okay, so let's go back and talk about this real quick, because as you said, a lot of people say, I don't want to restrict myself. Like, I think I deserve it, right? I deserve it. I deserve this. I deserve that. I don't want to put any limits on myself. So they feel like a budget is like a punishment, it's like something that they don't want to do. So how can you help someone who wants to rebuild, but they haven't yet had that kind of click, that aha moment that I'm going to have to make some differences, some changes, and a budget is kind of necessary. Have you ever come across any people that, have the same mindset of where they don't want to restrict themselves and they aren't really ready to do that?
Absolutely. And what happens in those situations, Z, is that they continue to spiral downward. They have to understand what their spending habits are. And they have to understand that there's 3 categories that I classify spending in. Mm-hmm. One is needs. Mm-hmm. The needs are those things that you need to survive: your home or your shelter, your food, clothing, utilities. Those are needs. Mm-hmm. The other thing is wants. Mm-hmm. Those wants are things that you think you might need, and women in general tend to get those two confused. They believe that their wants are their needs. So they will spend more on wants as opposed to taking care of the needs. That the wants are the second category. The third category is the gotta haves. The gotta haves are, I gotta have my morning coffee fixed 7 days a week. There's no compromising with the gotta haves. So a lot of times we get our gotta haves confused with our wants, and then we transcend those over to our needs. So if we become clear that there are 3 different categories for determining how you spend your money, and record them. I have different worksheets in the book to assist the readers in going through this process, where they actually categorize their needs, their wants, and they gotta have, so they can determine and have a big picture of how they actually are spending.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you have to be more conscious in your spending, kind of slow down yourself a little bit and really look at, okay, this is, categorize these things, and then you can see where your money is going, it sounds like. So it sounds like we have to get ourselves, connected to money in a way that's not superficial, like we're actually thinking.
Exactly. The purpose of money is to work for you. Your money's responsibility is to go out here and make friends with other money and bring them friends back home to you. That's what your money's job is. So the whole purpose is to have your money working for you, and you're not working for that money.
I ain't got there all the way yet. I'm gonna break this mug down. You got a group or something so we can do this together? Because I don't know if I even trust myself to even do it. I don't know. That's a question for you, Basila. Like, sometimes you feel like I've been stuck in this way for so long. Like, can I actually do anything different? Am I actually going to be able to learn some new tricks? I'm an old dog. Can I really learn some new ways? And like, how do you get to really begin to feel like I can tackle this and I can do it?
Well, Z, getting into debt is a process. And it's easy to get into debt. The challenge comes with getting out of debt. Yes, it is a process. Yes, it is hard. I won't say difficult. It's hard because you have to have a different mindset. So as you take this journey to eliminate your debt and reduce your debt and then eliminate it, it can be done. Trust the process. Trust your process. Everyone has a different process. It depends on where you are in your debt situation that will determine where you actually begin your process for reducing and eliminating your debt.
And for those people who might be like, oh, I don't even have any debt, it's always another phase of, as you say, helping your money work for you, right? So then you're investing. You don't have any debt. So now we need to make sure that you're using the money that you have and really making sure that's working for you. I shared this earlier on my page, but I want to bring it forward now because sometimes, God be on it, sending those little angels at just the weirdest times. So earlier I was telling everybody that I was playing tennis, and right next to the tennis court that I go to most frequently, there is an apple tree, right? Now, everybody else could care not about this apple tree. For some reason, this apple tree excites the heck out of me. Like, I love it. I love this apple tree. And I was like, oh my God, look at these apples. And the little neighbor guy, one neighbor guy before was like, we don't eat those apples. He said, like, when you take a bite, it gets brown too fast. There's something wrong with them. I was like, okay, I took a bite and it was sweet. So anyway, today when I was there, I was picking some of the apples because I already knew that these apples were sweet, and I didn't die because the week before I ate one and I didn't die. So I came back and I was picking my apples, right? So this guy came over, older gentleman, and he looked at me and he was like, you probably got a lot of unnecessary stuff in your house, don't you? He was like, you probably got a lot of unnecessary stuff in your house. And I was like, yes, but like, why you say that? So he was like, you know what the difference is between men and women? One of the major differences And I was like, no, why? What are you saying? And he was like, women can't distinguish between their needs and their wants.
Mhm.
Women, they just can't distinguish between their needs and their wants. They think that they need an extra pair of shoes for some emergency that hasn't come up yet. But he was like, but they've been living, all this time just perfectly fine. He was like, they think they need this and they need this. And he said exactly what you're saying right now. He said, you get your needs and your wants confused, and then you end up buying all these things that you quote unquote think you need, but they were wants. And then when you want money to do something else that's important, or a emergency comes up, you don't have a solid nest egg because you spent it on all of these, wants and blah, 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 whatever. And then today, we're having this conversation where you expand it even further and you tell me about the needs, you tell me about the wants, and then the gotta haves, So it's like these messages are coming consistently to us. And I hope that everybody who is here is like really being honest with yourselves and looking at your own money story and your own financial area in your life and seeing how you can make improvements, because all of us can make improvements. So don't get all caught up. Oh, I wasn't a teenage single mom. I wasn't this, I wasn't that, da, da, da. I don't have that problem. I don't have a whole bunch of debt. But there's some way where you can go to the next phase in your own financial life. All right. So you got clear on your stuff, like really where you were. You understood from your rock bottom, like this is not where it's at. I need to make a difference. I need to change from here. And then you got serious, really learning. So how did you actually begin to learn about what was necessary for you to rebuild? Like, did somebody teach you, or did you just go out there and start experimenting? Like, how did you actually get the knowledge?
Well, initially, let me go back. I worked at a bank, and it would break my heart every time I would see a mom come into the bank to withdraw money from her checking account. And this happened more times than what I care to remember. She only had, these women would have just a few dollars in their account, and they would be very sad and unsure about what to do with that money that they had in their accounts. They had three choices for the most part. That was to allow the money to sit in the account because they've already wrote checks for utilities and the check was going to bounce. So they would leave the money in their accounts to pay the overdraft fees, or they will withdraw the money to buy diapers, or they would buy the money. They would withdraw the money to sorry about that. They will withdraw the money to buy diapers. So diapers, gas, or allow the overdraft to go through.
Not good choices.
Not good choices. And at that time, it bothered me to see women, single moms, go through this. However, I was pretty much oblivious about my own situation. I'm like, okay, I feel bad for them, but I was not taking stock in what was actually going on with me. So the first step that I had to do in this whole process, Z, was to get my mind right. I had to rewrite my money story. I had to stop telling myself all these negative money affirmations. There are negative money affirmations, just like there's positive money affirmations.
Give me an example. What you mean by negative money affirmation?
I'm never going to get out of this debt. That's a very negative money affirmation. And when you tell yourself this, your subconscious does not know the difference. So guess what? You're never going to get out of that debt.
Yeah.
And from there, I began to read different books and magazines, attend workshops, and that's how I learned more about budgeting and about finance in general.
So, the thing is, so as you're saying, you identified and then you took action. And we already know, like, if we don't take action on something, you're going to stay in the same situation. So, you know, those of you who are here, you learn the first step right now. We're going to learn a couple of more steps and in this evening. And then, of course, you're going to get the book next Saturday, Rebuild Money Management for Single Moms, 8 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom and Abundant Living. And I'll tell you, like, I feel like this is such an important thing because unfortunately, a lot of people don't learn any financial skills until they become quote unquote adults, right? Like when we're children, a lot of times we may get an allowance or we may get $3 and go to the store or something and have to figure out how I'm going to spend my little $3, whatever. But a lot of us don't really get a lot of information about credit cards, about interest, all of these things that really can make or break somebody's, you know, life. And when, you know, when I think about it, like my mom was a single teenage mom. My mom had her first child at 16. My brother Maurice was born at 16 years old, right? And so the trajectory of my own life as the daughter of a teenage mother, you know, could have very well been differently if her parents hadn't also, like what your mom did, had that education. She was like, nah, chick, like you going to school, like that ain't an option. So, you know, that sort of saved her, right? But that's not the reality for a lot of people. And so many people get lost and caught up and then are not able to bounce back until they have a system, which is what you put here, right? You've given them a system now to be able to bounce back. All right, so I want to dive a little bit more into these like plans that you put together for them. So, okay, we already talked about budgeting. So they know that they have to create a budget, right?
Yes.
And I want to talk about what I want to talk about, like after we have like a budget or such, and we've identified the things that we need to do or such, and the things that we want to have in there. What is our next step from there? Like we have this mindset now, we have a budget. What's next?
The next step would be to create an emergency savings.
Okay.
And in emergency savings, I always call this an initial emergency savings because you can always build upon it. Mm-hmm. I would say anywhere between $500 to $1,000. That way you can cover minor emergencies. If you get a flat tire or your tire goes bad, you don't have to go into your bill money in order to take care of any household repairs or repairs with your car, those types of things. If an appliance goes bad, you don't have to go into your bill money. So the second thing would be to establish an initial emergency savings.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, okay. So the initial emergency, what do you say to those people who say like, okay, Sister Basila, how am I going to save money when I don't even have enough money to cover my stuff already? Like I ain't got enough money to cover the things that I'm already supposed to be paying, but you also want me to save. Like, how do they manage that?
Well, the budget process will allow them to create unassigned money every month. And what I mean by unassigned money is that when you go through the budgeting process, you will initially start out with what you're currently paying, what your current expenses are. You will take a look at your current expenses and you will begin to slash like your life depended on it. You will get rid of that cell phone bill that you know you can't afford.
Mm-hmm.
And you will get you a Metro piece of whatever they call it. And you will roll with that for a moment. Yeah. You may even cut the cable. Mm-hmm. You know, you will go in and slash those expenses that are not necessary. Mm-hmm. Instead of having your morning coffee fixed 7 days a week, invest in a coffee maker and make your coffee. Mm-hmm. I was so excited one month that I saved $254 from making my own coffee. That was a win for me. That was a celebration.
Win, right?
Yeah, I was able to take that money and do something else with it. Yeah. So in that particular process, you definitely have to slash your expenses.
Mhm.
Once you compare where you originally started out at the beginning of the month with your budget and where you were able to slash expenses, any monies that you have left over is your unassigned money.
Okay.
And it's with that unassigned money that you begin to save. You don't go get your hair done. You don't go get your nails done.
Mhm. Switch.
Yes, you have to use discipline.
Mm-hmm. We're not saying look jacked up, but we're saying that you're going to find ways to slash your expenses. This is really good because is honestly, as we said, we know that this book is targeting single moms, but these are the same things you have to do if you want to have an effective business. You have to go in and take an audit of your expenses. I call them money leaks, like areas where you're just have money, leaking out. You have to find these things and then slash them, as you said. And I'm kind of getting excited because I like the idea of having more money without necessarily always making more money. Like the same money that I bring in, if I can find these areas that you're talking about where I can save, then I can have more of a surplus without me actually having to bring in more, using more of what I have. This stuff is like gold. All right. I love this because listen, and money is not evil. People say money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. Your own stuff. Like if your heart is jacked up, then you're gonna be an evil person. So if you're evil, you're gonna use money for evil things. If you're a good person, you're gonna use it for good things.
And that is true, Z. But you know what? To speak to that, the lack of money, in my opinion, is the root of all evil because you do things that you wouldn't normally do to get money. You have this dogmatic mentality that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get money, and you can do some evil things behind that. So the root of not having money, not having money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, we definitely see how poverty creates crime, how poverty creates lots of bad social circumstances. All right. So, hey, you all, for those of you who are just joining us, I see we have some new people that have been coming in. My name is Arena Alamin. I am the founder of the Power Author Academy and Book Power Publishing. We are a Detroit-based author services and self-publishing company that helps entrepreneurs, individuals, seniors, people get their stories out there into the world. And we have the opportunity right now to talk to author Basila Muhammad Guisse, who is the author of Rebuild, Money Management for Single Moms, 8 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom and Abundant Living. So we're going to be opening up a Q&A in just a moment. So if you have any questions, type those into the chat box. If you have any comments, we would love to hear your comments as well. Type those into the chat box. And I want to just remind everyone that you're going to buy this book next Saturday, September 25th. That is our Buying Frenzy Day. We are going to launch these books out into the world and we're going to hit bestseller. So that's our bestseller day next Saturday, September 25th. I want you all to join us on that day. We'll be live just as we are now for like a little marathon, if you will, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to achieve any type of, we're going to have prizes. And if you want to win any prizes, then you're going to register. Go to powerauthoracademy.com/graduation. You'll be able to join us on that day and then also win a prize. Now, I know I'm kind of giving this away. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I know that our author has a prize for us. So I think I wanted you just to share real quick, like what are they going to be able to win from you on that day, September 25th?
Some fortunate person will be able to win a free credit analysis with me, where I actually review your credit report, go through it, and help you create a plan on how to get your credit right. To raise that credit score up to at least a 740, that's ideal. But I want to be able to assist someone in getting their finances in order. And one good way of doing that is to get that credit repaired. So we're going to go in and review that credit history, see what is accurate, see what is inaccurate, see what needs to be eliminated or removed because of the age of the debt, and even try to do some debt settlement with some of the creditors.
Woo! All right. So you can win this opportunity to have our author, Basila Muhammad Guisse, look at your own information and give you some practical things that you can do in order to get your financial journey to the next step, right? And cleaning up your credit is a wonderful place to begin to do that. So how do you win? You go to register at powerauthoracademy.com/graduation. The link is on the screen. And when you see there, you should see some place where it says register or RSVP or something like that towards the top-ish. Click that and then put your information in, and you will be entered into the drawing to win on next Saturday, which is our buying day. So you're going to buy this book next Saturday. Oh, what is that money? What is that? What is that?
This is my money tree. This is my motivation. These are $100 bills, and they are the play money $100 bills that I bought from Amazon to try to keep myself motivated during this whole money process. So yeah, this is my money tree.
Show me the bottom. Like, how'd you make this thing? I'm like,
wait a minute.
Oh, I love it.
It's so woo.
I love it. I love this. It's a visual that makes you really see what it is that you're trying to achieve. So
exactly.
Just vision boards and all that stuff, like having this there is. Now, I have a question for you, because even in business, like this is something I'm still working through even today. Like, you know, you have people that have like these altruistic type of defaults to their way of being and such. And I know for a time, I used to have some guilt around having money a little bit. I used to have like some guilt around having more than some of the people that were around me, you know. Like, I don't know if this is something you've dealt with or if you know other people that have maybe dealt with this, but how do you deal with this idea of almost like repelling money because you don't want to seem like too stuck up, or like you got all this? Like, I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but do you understand like what I'm saying? Have you heard?
Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying, and that goes back to how you feel and act around money. Do you feel that you're worthy of the money that you're receiving? And that's a big question. And one of the things that I do in my book is that I have 2 money quizzes. One to assess how you act around money and how you feel about money. And in those money quizzes, they really pinpoint exactly how you feel and how you behave around money. So if you're feeling that you're not deserving of the money, that could be a red flag, because you're going to run away from money. Money is going to be chasing you, and you're going to be running away from it. No, you want to do a 180, turn around and say, hey, come, you know? Right. Exactly. So yes.
Yeah, that's something definitely I think a lot of us have to work on, and just in all types of ways, right? We definitely don't want to be repelling. But I always say too, like, good people, we want good people to have more money, because good people are going to do good things. You're going to have money. You're going to be able to start that scholarship fund that school, you know, start this research for something, build this building for other at-risk youth or whatever. Like, good people need to have money. Do I want some jerk to have it in some big old office that he's just stockpiling his own self? Or do I want somebody that I know cares about society and cares about humanity and really wants to make the world a better place? So that's why, you know, we really feel like it's incumbent. You and I, we need to get as much money as we can get, right? I'm not shying away from no money. Pay me, baby. Right, pay me. I gotta do these scholarships. I need to build this school I've been trying to build for like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? That's, I almost cussed. That stuff takes money, right? In order to build it. And we don't want to always be in a position of having to ask and beg for donations here and there. And another thing, this don't get me on a rant. These dogs go fund me for funerals. I understand when people pass and all of those things, like, you know, the community should come around. But we also need to make sure that you are planning for your life. And so that when you pass, it's not a burden on anybody that loves you, you know. So, all right, let's see if we have any questions. Any questions? Oh, you got a lot of comments. Let's see what people said so far. So, we got this one dude. I don't know who this dude is. Sheikh Tijan. It's like, I know who he is, but so your husband says he's very proud of you. Awesome.
Thank you, sweetheart.
It's lovely. So we have people from Oakland, from Senegal. Okay, Sister Umar, she says, Alhamdulillah, very honest interview, wonderful offering, takbir, awesome. I love the Dada Halves. Fatima, she's looking at her finances and she's like, Wi-Fi alone is all that's needed. That's true. Wi-Fi is key. Amina Adcock, another author. This is very educational. Unassigned money. I need to assign mine to an initial emergency savings. Love this. Awesome. Shahida, this is so super good, Queens. Love this. Awesome. Okay. Fatima, I shared what I had with others. My house, my food, my money, skills. Yeah. And then Brother Saeed says, Assalamu alaikum, sisters. Nice presentation. Awesome. All right. So, Sister Basila, so now when people are thinking about this, like, what do you want them to get out of this conversation around money and around financial freedom? Like, what is your ultimate goal with putting this whole thing together?
My ultimate goal, Z, is to see the financial playing field leveled for single moms, for them to have the opportunities to excel in life and do those things that they want to do for themselves and their children. Mm-hmm. Not to have to depend on state assistance, not to really have to depend on child support. And if you do have to depend on child support, don't treat it like a second income, because that child support is going to run out one day. And then what are you going to do? Or you may or may not receive a child support payment. Then what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to manage the money that you have control over, which is your money. And you need to develop your own plan so you can be self-sufficient. And that's what my goal is to bring self-sufficiency, to increase confidence in single moms and let them know that this can be done. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I had over $40,000 in credit card debt. Wow. That's just how serious it was for me, on top of a $65,000 student loan debt. You know, but trying to survive, it can be done.
It can be done. And you are the example that it can be done. Awesome. So I know you started a group, right? So how can people keep in contact with you? How can they join and learn more about the things that you're teaching in here and maybe get to work with you a little bit more?
Well, I invite everyone to join my Facebook group, Rebuild Money Management for Single Moms. There I will be posting money tips, videos, and sharing out any information that I have that I believe that will be beneficial to single moms, that will help them on their money journey.
Awesome. I love that. So you all go to Facebook and you can type in Rebuild Money Management for Single Moms, which is the title of the book. Let's see. There we go. Oh, which camera am I on? There we go. Rebuild Money Management for Single Moms. And you can join the group, which is absolutely free. You can join the group and get these tips. And honestly, you all, our hope is that you are inspired. No matter what step you're on with your money journey, you're inspired to take action and clean it up. No matter where you are, if your stuff is super clean, you don't have any debt, there's always a next stage, right? There's always a next stage. Oh, hey, Joretta. She says, so inspiring. Can't wait to read your book. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we can't wait to read your book either.
Right.
I love you. All right. So, all right, let's see. Are there any questions that you all have for Sister Basila? And Sister Basila, okay, we have one question that came in. Thank you, because I totally forgot to ask you really what inspired you. So what inspired you to actually write the book? And let me put it this way, because we know your story, right? We know what you went through. We know how important the information is. However, not everyone that has good, useful information that can help somebody else actually take the time to put it together and put it into a book. So like what made you say, you know what, I'm actually going to write a book about this? What inspired you to do that?
Well, since the beginning of my entering into my single motherhood, I always wanted to do something for single moms. Initially, I thought that I would have a group home for single teenage moms, and they will come there until their babies are 2 years old. And that way I'll do some career counseling with them to help them get on their feet and this, that, and the other. That never panned out. Mm-hmm. So when I was going through the process of personal coaching, mm-hmm. that's when I decided that I should put out a book to assist the audience that I want to help. And that way it can reach more people as opposed to just having that one group home. So that was my inspiration behind writing the book, was to reach as many single moms as I possibly could, to let them know that getting out of debt and staying out of debt can be done. And I wanted to be a catalyst in helping them to do that.
Awesome. The thing I really like about your book is like, it's not fluff. Like it's real. It's a lot of information in here, but you also did a lot of work on making like these budgets and tools that people can actually use, right? Like real tools that they can fill in and such. So you're going to buy this book next Saturday, Rebuild. We will, of course, have all the information for you, and we'll remind you up until the day. Go register at powerauthoracademy.com/graduation. You'll be able to win a free credit analysis from the author, which is, worth about $495 or so. So you'll be able to win that just by registering for the graduation. So powerauthoracademy.com/graduation. Okay, so the next question here is from Sister Farida. So what are some financial tips for single moms who are remarrying?
That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Some financial tips for single moms remarrying is to definitely have that conversation with your intended or fiance before the marriage. Make sure that you all have discussed it. Discussed finances before, during your vetting process, and also to make sure that you all have a plan. If you do not have a plan before getting married, you absolutely will not have a plan while you're married. Mm-hmm. So that is the main thing, is to make sure that you're on the same page with your intended or fiance. Another financial tip for single moms remarrying is decide on how you want to handle child support. I know for me, that was a big issue in the past, because my former husband thought that he should have access to my child support for my children, and that was not going to happen. No. So that caused issues in the marriage. However, that was not something that I discussed with him beforehand. So if you have children and if you receive child support, absolutely have that discussion with your intended or your fiance. Mm-hmm. Those are the two biggest ones.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. So we have another question here. Amina, can you explain passive income? Because some people take passive income as doing whatever you want, as opposed to using it to invest. So passive income.
Passive income is income that you make where you don't have to put any work into it. Passive income is income that you gain by sleeping. For instance, one of the biggest industries for gaining passive income is the stock market. You can buy your stock and you can allow your stock to just continue to grow. And I know there, excuse me, there's some controversy like, well, stock may be haram. Well, when you buy stock, you buy a portion of the company and you're paid dividends. You're not paid interest. So in any interest bearing vehicles, you want to make sure that any interest that you may gain, that you pay your zakat on it. That way you're Sharia compliant. However,
one moment, Sister Basila. So we got some different audio. So some type of audio went away, I think, a little bit. Did your phone move at all?
No.
Oh, okay. It changed. Let's see. Okay, speak again.
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but for some reason the audio has totally changed, like almost like totally different or whatever. But okay, so I think we're almost coming to the end anyway, so we'll just keep with it and go ahead and finish your statement, please.
Okay, so with the passive income, you don't put any work into it. So you just invest your money and just let it do what it does. When you have active income, that means that you're researching the companies, you are researching, you're watching the stock market, you're actively participating in making your deposits and withdrawals. When you are passive, you just have automatic withdrawals set up and you just let it build up. So that's the big difference between passive and active. Passive, you don't do any work, you just do the initial legwork and let it do what it does. And then with the active income, you are consistently active with managing those investments.
Beautiful. So we're all working on building that passive, right? Building that passive.
Smarter, not harder.
That's right. We're smarter, not harder. What's your statement? What's your statement?
So take care of your money so your money will take care of you.
I love that so much. Take care of your money so your money will take care of you. I love that. So you all, on that note, I'm going to thank Sister Basila this evening for coming and sharing with us not only some of the initial steps to rebuild and build your finances, but also being able to give us a little bit of her backstory and being willing to be vulnerable enough to talk about these things, because we all know there's a lot of shame that goes into being in debt. There's a lot of shame that goes into having a 500, 400 credit score. There's a lot of shame around these things. However, you're not going to be able to ascend and get out of it until you get real with it, which was her very first step. Like, know where you are, get your mindset ready to go. So we're going to invite you all to purchase her book next Saturday, the 25th. Again, you can win a special one-to-one credit analysis with Sister Basila by registering for the graduation for our bestseller day, which is next Saturday, the 25th. How do you register? You go to powerauthoracademy.com/graduation. There'll be a registration button there and you'll be able to click that and register. Two more things. One is that we want all of you single moms, go join her group. So right when we get off, go to Facebook, type in Rebuild Money Management for Single Moms. It'll come up, and then join the group, because this is like a journey. This isn't something you just do 1 minute and then you're done. These are instances, these are skills that you're going to be building, and you're going to learn how to really make your money work for you in perpetuity, forever, right? So I'm excited. I'm about to go join the group. I'm going to go to my next level, whatever your next level is, identify what that is. I'm going to go to my next level because, I got some more traveling to do. I got some life, to live, some retirement, all these things that we have to plan for. And so I'm really excited to be one of Sister Basila's students and learning more about how we can do all of this. All right. So Sister Basila, any final words?
My final words are, it can be done. Trust your process and take care of your money so your money will take care of you.
I love it. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.